Hello, class. I am going to show you about note values today. And to do that, I've created a little presentation here. We'll run through that real quick. This correlates to page 7 in this book right here, which is the Theory Book 1, the one we're using in the 6th grade class. So to start off, each kind of note has a length. You know, the time that note lasts, and we call that its duration. So if we're going to start with a whole note. A whole note fills up an entire measure in our music right now. And sometime it'll be longer than a measure, and sometimes it'll be shorter than a measure. But right now, it fills up a whole measure. That's why it's called a whole note. So if you can imagine, like this circle is sound, and it's full. Okay. Now there's a half note, which looks like a whole note, but it has a stem on it. And this stem can actually go up or down, and you'll see that on a quarter note on the next slide. But it's an empty circle with a line, and it's a half note. And a half note is half the length of a whole note. So here's our circle again. Before, it was full, but now it's half full. So half is sound and half is not sound. If you add a half note to a half note, you would get a whole note. So two halves make a whole, just like in all math, right? The third kind of note we're going to talk about is a quarter note. And you can see a quarter note is now, it's like a half note filled in. It's got a stem, and here's the stem going both directions. Notice when the stem's going up, it's on the right, and when it's down, it's on the left. Okay, a quarter note, just like it says, is a quarter of a whole. So just like a dollar is a whole, and you have 4 quarters that fit into it, it's the same kind of idea. So you can fit 4 quarter notes in a whole note, or you can fit 2 quarter notes in a half note. Okay, so this equals 4, this equals 2, and this equals 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. So hopefully I still have you. Hopefully you get that. So now we're going to go look at some music. Okay, we kind of talked a while ago about this time signature here. It says 4-4. Let me circle it. Okay, so the 4 on the top means 4 beats, and it means 4 beats. I know I said that 3 times. I'm an amateur video maker at best, right? Okay, so if you look in each measure here, I have 4 quarter notes. So the measures are right here. You can see each measure has 4 of those quarter notes in it. So there's a measure line, and there's 4 quarter notes, and there's a measure line, and there's 4 quarter notes. Well, the bottom number stands for what kind of beat there is. So if you think of this sort of like a fraction, this means 4 quarters. And obviously you could reduce that fraction down to 1, but we don't want to do that for this. This 1 would be a whole. So it also could mean that a whole note fits in the measure. But what we're saying here is we count 4 quarter notes in a measure. I'm going to break this apart. Okay, so there's our math. There's 4 quarters in this measure. If you look, there literally is a quarter there, a quarter there, a quarter there, and a quarter there, right? So when we're counting our music, we are counting quarter notes if it says 4-4, like that one does right there. Okay? All right, so what I've set up here is a metronome, so we'll hear it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a whole note. Okay, now one whole note will last all 4 of those beats. Okay. So duration, that one note lasts for 4 of those clicks. Okay. Now I've changed it to a half note, so it's going to last 2 of these clicks. I'll add another half note. So now you'll hear a half note for those 2 beats and a half note for those 2 beats. Okay. And obviously now, if I add quarter notes, all right. All right, so now we can combine them to make rhythm. So what if I take this and I just change them to quarter rests? Okay. Or what if I took the next measure and I made a half note and a half note, and then a quarter, and a quarter. So you watch our click. Okay. Or if I take a whole note and a quarter note, did it again, and I do a quarter note and a half note, okay, let's hear my song now. Okay, so now you're going to take your book, this book right here, and you're going to look up page 7, and you're going to notice that there's some questions to answer right here. The other thing I want you to notice is on number 2 and on number 3, you're going to have to make stems. So I want to show you one more thing. If you look at this staff here, or I put this B in here for the trumpet, you notice that the stems go down and they're on the left side of the note. So we draw the note and then the stem goes down on that side. Okay, if I take that note right here and I move it up or down, notice the stem flips up the other way. So when I draw that stem, I'm going to draw it on the right side. So notice on this music, it's on the right side. If you forget, just look in your Standard of Excellence book and find notes that are drawn for you. Okay? So if it's below the middle line, the stems go up. If it's the middle line and up, the stems go down. Okay? So that's really all you need to know. What you should do is try to draw the notes as neatly as possible so that I can really tell what kind of note they are. Good luck and have fun finishing that page. You can probably do that page and the next page if I remember correctly, but at the very least, do that page. See ya.